Good evening, everyone. Hello, my name is Philippa Askham, and I'm one of the co-founders of a brand called Sweetpea Pantry. So we make the most epic, tasty pancake brownie flapjack mixes that are free from gluten, dairy and sugar and full of nutritious ingredients. We really believe that healthy food can taste amazing. Now, I'm here to welcome you this evening to Inspiring Entrepreneurs Recipes for Success, because I've benefited from the support that the British Library offers entrepreneurs to start, protect and grow their businesses. So we began our business about 4 years ago. And in that time, along the whole journey, the British Library has been really useful at various times along the way. I participated in the library's ERDF-funded Innovating for Growth campaign, which was invaluable in helping me take a step back from the day-to-day running of the business and become more strategic in my business decision-making. It was a really pivotal time for us. We just got our first major supermarket listing, and we really needed the tools that would help us get to the next stage of growth. So I would definitely recommend taking a look at that program and see if you could be part of the next cohort. The centre also helps on a day-to-day level, helping entrepreneurs by providing training, one-to-one support, connection building through networking, inspiring events such as this evening, and free access to the UK's most comprehensive database and market research. I would definitely encourage any small business owner to really take a look at what the library has to offer and see if it can help you achieve your business ambitions. And these resources aren't just in London. They're actually at any of the 13 national network of business and IP centres around the country, some of which are joining us live tonight. So we'll now watch a very short video to explain more about the business support that the library offers, after which we'll hand over to food journalist and campaigner Victoria Stewart to kick off what I'm sure will be an incredibly inspiring and motivating evening. Thank you.
Starting a business on your own can be quite challenging because all of the decisions lie with you.
You become so focused on your work and sometimes the balance just slightly rocks in the wrong direction.
As entrepreneurs, a lot of people come from similar backgrounds and a lot of people have similar concerns when they start their business.
I didn't have any experience and I really hardly had any money to start it up, so I was just thinking out of the box and seeing what was out there.
The Business and IP Centre in London is really the start of a national rollout of business and IP centres throughout England. What we're doing is we're empowering people by giving them the knowledge that they need to make the right decision.
We've got one of the largest business and information collections in the entire UK, with experienced staff on hand to help our customers use these resources.
The centre actually proves that the library is not only for academics but also for business people and provides very high quality resources to help entrepreneurs.
We've got keynote reports, Mintel reports, which will enable them to do market research.
We offer workshops, we offer one-to-one advice sessions.
One that we attended and that was really useful was the one with the IP lawyer. We went there and learned how to protect our images and footage.
People have come back and offered to speak at some of our events because they want to share the experience that they've had in the centre with other people.
The most useful programme for me was the Innovating for Growth programme, which is designed to support owners of small businesses develop and grow their businesses and step outside of them and really look at them from a commercial and strategic perspective.
It's always a fantastic experience to meet other entrepreneurs, share information, share doubt and success.
It is the most phenomenal programme and it's helped me strip down my business, which is what I really wanted to do.
If you're not sure where to begin or just need someone to talk to about your idea, the BIPC is a great place to start.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming to tonight's exciting event. I hope you're going to learn a lot. My name is Victoria Stewart. I have spent 10 years as a journalist writing about food and drink makers and producers and specialists for a range of publications, including the Evening Standard, where I was for 7 years, and Wired, Condé Nast, and a number of other places. So I'm really, really excited to hear from these guys about kind of where it started and how it's gotten to where they are now. Big thank you to everyone, for all of you guys for coming, but also thank you to everyone on our webcast and Twitter, wherever you are, I don't know where I'm looking, who we will involve in the questions later. And also to everyone in the libraries around the UK. I think there are places, people in Hull, in Cambridge, in Newcastle, in Nottingham, Peterborough, Northampton, and Liverpool. I think that's all of them. So welcome to all of you as well. So as you know, we're here as part of an amazing season of kind of food discussions and panel events, all looking at the role of food in business. And we are supported by KitchenAid again, which is a brand which I'm sure you're familiar with, so thank you to them. There are 7,000 micro, small and medium businesses in the country. There is no shortage of them, but we're continually looking for what makes a good one, which I guess we will hear about tonight as well. Couple of final bits of housekeeping before we get going. Firstly, you've all got a feedback form on your chair, so please fill that out. A, you get a free pen, and B, you'll all be fed into the prize draw later, which I think there are some foodie prizes. So if you fill that out, you'll get entered into that. Second thing is an event on the 20th of June is called Speed Mentoring, Cooking Up Success. So if you're a small business, do look at that. There is also a new intake for the February to March next year for the program called Innovating for Growth, Scale-Ups. So if any of you are a small business with a turnover of 100k, do look into that, because you'll get £10,000 of consultancy, or worth £10,000, which is amazing. So just quickly, as I was kind of researching these guys, all of whom I'm quite familiar with already, I was trying to find out what linked them all, other than the fact there's food. And I kind of decided that you guys are really, really passionate and committed to what you do, which sounds obvious, but not everyone is. Pretty uncompromising in certain places, particularly on quality, I think. And all really, really engaged with your customers. I think you seem to know what they want and kind of what to give them. So I think hopefully we'll hear a little bit more on that later. And obviously all the stuff that you sell is delicious, so that's also a bonus. Anyway, first of all, we will hear from Praveen if you do your presentation, and then we'll have a chat, and then same with Guy, and then with Pippa, and then we'll open up to a panel discussion, and then give a chance to you guys to have some questions as well. So go ahead.
Good evening. Well, thank you for coming along to the evening. I suppose I needed a slide just to remember to say hello to you all tonight. So that's my first prompt. So yeah, I'm Praveen from Eat Natural. We make fruit and nut bars, breakfast cereals, and we make everything ourselves today the same way we've always made them, in a little place. Next, yep. I'll do all of this work so that, figure out how to do it. So we make everything ourselves, and it's this little place called Halstead, which is in Essex, which happens to be not far from London. We started there 22 years back with, I'd like to say it was a fantastic time that we spent looking around the market, trying to analyze data, trying to figure out a gap in the market. It wasn't like that at all. Myself and my business partners actually had very little going for us in life. We thought that we needed some way of making money and earning money for our newly acquired wives. And I was kind of dabbling in a business which imported nuts and dried fruit. And we thought one day, well, what if we stuck them together? I mean, there was a big term at that time called value added. And everyone was talking about this. I'd come out of university and they'd sort of been talking about, you have to add value to whatever you're doing. And no one really knew what that meant, but we thought, well, if we got nuts and dried fruit and stuck them together, then that kind of answers that question, and we'll see what happens. So it started from that. We we then decided to make everything ourselves, and that's really a principle that we hold on to today, which is we make everything ourselves in small batches in what we call our makery, which is in Halstead. We make just a few at a time, and we use this term which we call love and care, which is just about really giving everything a lot of attention and making everything using store-covered ingredients in such a way that you can make everything yourself. It is literally made today the way we made it 22 years back, which is with rolling pins and with a whole load of people using their own artisanal methods in order to create a product which still tastes as it always has tasted. And for us, that was always very important, to make something which tastes great as the first answer. Today, you know, we wrap ourselves in lots of marketing speak and sort of say, well, you know, it's all about creating a product that is natural, that is wholesome, and that is delicious. And, you know, you converge these 3 points and you've got a perfect product. But ultimately, the most important part of what we do is the fact that it has to taste great. If it doesn't taste great, people aren't going to buy it again. And that's where we've predicated our activity. So we use great ingredients, and we make everything in our own manufacturing. So we've been doing a little bit of work recently and saying, well, what is our purpose, and what do we exist on this earth to do, and why are we here within the business that we have? So we sort of summed it up by saying that Eat Natural exists to convert the world to a more accessible way of, more natural way of eating by making it accessible for everybody. And what we mean by that is that products need to taste great, but they also need to be accessible. Number one, in terms of distribution, so they have to be available. There's no point in making a product if it's not available to anybody. And that's by making sure it gets into deep distribution across wherever you're going to buy it. So that's supermarkets, cafes, delicatessens, petrol stations, high streets, and export. So wherever you could possibly want to buy a bar, that's where it's going to be available. In order to do that, you also have to make sure it's good value for money. So being accessible is also about making sure it's price competitive. And it was always something, when we first made our bar, it was very expensive. It was probably 2 or 3 times the price of a Mars bar. But we stuck with it, and we believed in the product. And today, in fact, the product's almost, I don't particularly think now it's considered to be particularly expensive. It's considered to be good value for money for what we make. But it's important to make whatever you do to make something priced properly for the market. And our mantra that we talk about is that natural should be normal. Personally, I don't actually understand why you go into a supermarket, there's a separate aisle for natural foods and a separate aisle for everything else. It doesn't seem to make any sense to me, but surely it should be the other way around. But natural is what we consider to be the most normal way of eating. And that stems through everything we do. From when you go to work, your way of working should be as natural as it should be. You know, there's no point having undue stress if you can help it. So from all aspects of the way the product's put together, the way we run our business, is all about trying to make sure that you work and you live in the way that you'd want to pass that on to everybody else in your family. Well, of course, we have to talk about sustainability these days. It's a vital component of our business, and it's becoming more important going forward. I have this sort of concept that I like to talk about, which is leaving no trace. So I borrowed that from my daughter's camp that she goes on to. They go camping and they talk about leaving no trace, which is kind of a philosophy that we believe in too, which is that we don't want our business to leave a bad impact on the environment, and if you can make it better, then that would be great. So from using green energy to using to even recycling our pallets. So now we have this project called Pollination, where we take pallets that are broken and we make them into beehives, and we send these beehives all over the country. So if you fancy becoming a beekeeper, we'll send you a beehive and the bees. Maybe not the bees, I don't know, but we certainly send you the beehive and training and showing you how to use it. But we want half your honey. And I was asked to tell you a little bit about what we're trying to do in the future. I couldn't really think of anything apart from sort of saying we want to go and we would like to keep growing the business, doing more and more of what we try to do. And that means driving distribution. And that's our key goal in everything we do. We're in a highly competitive market, and all we can do is try to be more, I'd like to use the word aggressive, that's not really the right word, but trying to do something that is try to drive our product out into all retail points, and that's where we are, where we drive to. Simple, isn't it? Thank you.
You give us 5 minutes. Guy, you give us 5 minutes, I'll have a chat to him.
Oh, we can do it that way, okay. Sorry.
You guys, am I right in to say you're making around 7 million bars a month? Or maybe it's even more than that.
About 100 million a year, that's right.
Yeah.
I suppose that's...
So obviously you're still really, really committed to quality, and I meant, you still use your layering, roasting, and small batches as your kind of 3 points for that. But is that kind of still where you started, or is that something you've kind of worked on developing your values now?
No, absolutely. We started off making bars in small batches, making everything ourselves, and we'll continuously do that. And the reason we do that is it's the only way that we know. Firstly, it's the only way we know how to do it. It's also the only way that you can preserve the texture and the integrity of the ingredients that you use. If you overbake something, if you use too many artificial ingredients, then it's just not going to taste great. And if you do something at very high volume, I think the trick of trying to do something at high volume is that there's generally always a compromise. And the compromise is generally in the ingredients or the way you make things. You overheat or you overprocess, and then it becomes a processed food, and you sort of, well, why am I eating this? So for us, it's very important to make things in the way that we've always made them. So all we did, rather than having one small mixer, we've now got a slightly larger mixer, and now we've got several larger mixers, and we've just got more rolling pins. We literally have, I think at last count, we've got about 20 or 30 rolling pins.
You're obviously continuing to expand, and you're obviously in tons of supermarkets already. Where was the first place that bought your bars? Where was the first shop that you got stocked in?
The very first shop was actually a small little cafe in our own village, Halstead, and we took a box to this cafe and said, well, would you like to buy it? And he said no. So can we just give it to you then, and then we'll come back and see if it sells? So it started from there. We put it in there. It did sell by chance, because there was no one at that time who would take a chance on us and saying that they would be willing to sell a bar for £1. It was almost unheard of. I think at that time, other brands, Innocent Smoothies, for example, or Haagen-Dazs, they hadn't even appeared yet. They were just about to start. No one thought of spending that kind of money on a snack product. Not when Mars was 25 pence or 30 pence.
Whereas now the market is absolutely huge and everybody's willing to spend money on it. How do you kind of continue to convince people that that's something that they want to do? I mean, I feel like a lot of people here, if they're looking into starting their own businesses, and I know you have to talk about this as well, is that thing of talking to shops and convincing them, which is clearly you're very good at it. Is it just kind of saying, we're really good?
No, I don't know if we're really good at it, but we are very desperate. And I think that actually honestly drives everything. It's been the way we've been right from the very beginning. We really need sales. We've got this plant now. We've got 25 rolling pins. We have to make use of them.
When did the beekeeping
initiative?
When did that start?
We've been doing that for about 4 or 5 years now. And for me, anything that we do in terms of sustainability or anything that's considered to be charitable has to be a 360-degree, fully immersible project. It has to be something that pays for itself, or it has to be something which is self-sustaining. Sustainability has to be self-sustaining. And otherwise, I don't think it has any longevity. So whatever we do, we incinerate all of our waste, for example, that comes back into our own energy supply, for example. So, but that makes sense for us as well, because not only is it great for the environment, but it also reduces our energy bill. So, you can't kid yourself by trying to do something that's great for the environment all the time without making it sensible for us. And then it becomes sustainable, and that's what's very important for us.
So kind of careful budgeting and planning, really.
Yeah, but it's also a very important thing to do. For us, learning about, we set up pollination, which is our project to convert pallets into beehives. because we also want to learn more about bees, and we also want to know understand and explain to everybody that if we don't have bees, we don't have bars, and it doesn't make any sense if we go around treating the earth with so many pesticides and so many artificial things that are going, and getting rid of all of the foliage, that means that there aren't any bees left.
So the final thing is, obviously everyone's always asking what's new, and you've just got a new bar out, but how when you're looking into the future, how far ahead do you plan? Where do you stop? Where do you start?
I don't think anything more than 6 months probably. Realistically, we don't have a long business plan. We can't have. It's so difficult. The market's changing so fast, and you're constantly reacting. And quite honestly, you know, we think we've got great ideas, you know, and we'll go to a supermarket or we'll go to a customer and say, you know, next year this is what's going to happen to the market, and they'd say, well, that's fantastic, but you know, how much money are you going to pay me to put your product on promotion tomorrow? And they'll say, and then the customer, you know, I'll go to a customer, and in fact, a lot of our ideas, our NPD, new product development, we think we've got a great product development team, and we think we keep coming up with all these fabulous ideas, but a lot of the ideas are actually generated by our customers. And then when they tell us their ideas, they've already bought into the product. So they can come to us and say, you know what, why don't you put a little bit of salted caramel in your bar? And we think, oh, it's a fantastic idea, we'll do just that. And you go back to them a week later and say, look, I tell you what, I made you a bar with some salted caramel in it. And they think that's a fantastic idea, it was my idea, now they've got to take it. So it kind of works two ways. So I don't think you should, I personally don't believe in thinking, you think long-term in terms of how you're going to be able to manufacture and how you're going to be able to grow, but not necessarily in terms of the microcosm of the business.
Great. Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you.